Hello there, it's Pete Checkley for Sample Library Review, and today I'm checking out Sunset Strings from Realitone. 2020 has seen its fair share of quality string library releases, which proves you can never have enough strings. Sunset Strings approaches a traditional string library from a completely new and creative angle. With top-notch LA session players and the sublime recording space of Studio A of United Recording, formerly known as legendary Ocean Way Studios, what does Sunset Strings bring new to the table? In short, there's a lot. Stick around, this fantastic library has a lot to show us. Sunset Strings downloads at 12.8 gigabytes and it has a massive 50 articulations. It uses full ensemble patches and runs a dual layer string engine. Currently it's on beta release and it requires the full 5.8.1 contact or better, yet upon release this will change to the free contact player and it will also be NKS compatible. At the moment it's on $199 as a pre-order and it will rise to $300 on official release. Sunset Strings by Realitone is a single NKI instrument and everything is contained within it, all the articulations. I recorded a very short demo to show how stunning and lush and gorgeous these strings sound. Now there are 50 different articulations, so to put all those into a demo would be really challenging, so I've decided to go with just 4 really simple string patches using different techniques and a single piano. So here it is. The demo shows how lush and stunning these strings sound. Now straight out the box they just sound fantastic. So that's using the instrument reverb and the room space is just phenomenal. Now there are 2 layers and that's the really cool, awesome innovation of this instrument. You have the top layer and you have the bottom layer. Now the mod wheel will control whether you sort of just have one layer playing or you can crossfade them between. You can bring in the top layer using the mod wheel. You can have them all doing the same thing, and of course you can set it to control your expression. So if I make it really obvious at the top, instead of harmonics, I'm just going to go to a let's go to the random harmonics. Now when I bring the mod wheel up, you'll hear these harmonics sort of like get blended in. Okay, so that's a really obvious way of seeing that in action. If I put the Cole Legno drops on, so we have nothing, just a sol tasto. Then add the mod wheel. Okay, so again, it's quite an extreme example, but you hear how the engine works. So the two dual layer system is something I had to say right off the bat, otherwise the first look wouldn't really make much sense. Now, look at the GUI, it's really, really simple, really classy. The presentation is brilliant. In the middle, you have kind of like the shape of the articulations you're using, top layer and bottom layer. The controls, all they do is change the volume, so you can change the volume of the layers, and then these bring up the different articulations. You have the attack and release, which I'm going to talk about in detail shortly because there's a lot to that. And same for the bottom layer. On the bottom left, you have the mod wheel behavior. Now the X will mean your crossfade from the bottom layer to the top layer. So they'll play independently of each other when they're at max settings, or they'll sort of gently crossfade in the middle. This one means you'll have the bottom layer continuously and you'll gradually bring in the top layer. When you're at the top, both layers will play simultaneously. The equals will mean both layers will play equally, no matter what you're doing. And then you can link to an expression mod wheel, and that means you can change the expression, so the volume, as you would. Now I put the seagull articulation on there. I'm just going to change it to the crossfade. Okay, so again, you can see how that works. Now I've used a seagull because you can really hear it against, say, the soltasto vibrato. If I just go back to, let's say, the flautando, we use flautando, and play that. I'm going to blend the two together. And that's with the expression mod wheel linked. So you get these amazing range of dynamics. It can go from completely quiet and right through the range you'd expect to. Now you have the basses and the high, so you can change and take the basses out if you want to. And there we have the full basses. You could do the same for the high. That's a high part of the ensemble mainly. So that's just become a lot quieter, obviously, because we've taken the highs out. And then you have your reverb. Now you can change, so let's get that approximately right. You could change the octave where the basses are. Okay, so you can go really, really low, which is very cool. So you have a real huge range. There's the reverb setting, and it's default to 50%, and then you have the closed room and ambient mics, and obviously you can route those where you need to. Now that's in essence everything you need. The cogs there just turn the settings on and off, and the cogwheels here change the volume of the layers, and of course if you don't want the top layer you can just click it and turn it off. And obviously there'd be no sound there whatsoever. And here's just the top. Okay, so it's a really, really clever instrument, but of course we need to see what it sounds like. So I'm going to now turn off the mic and play some of the articulations, and then I'll turn it back on and talk about a lot more of the extended articulations. Just before I jump into the examples, it's worthy of note there are 50 different articulations. So these are the main articulations which I'll be playing through majority of. You have trills which go up to a major third, something called expanding trills, which is very cool. The trill just get wider and wider. Harmonic trills, repetitions, swells. There's a plethora of shorts, and there are all these different ensemble effects. Now, the one thing you're going to notice, there are no legatos, and this is an ensemble instrument. And obviously, some people think, well, that's a big omission, but that's not what this instrument's about. This is a creative string library. It's not about playing sort of like lead legato lines. So I'm going to go through the articulations and yeah, let's see what it sounds like. So you think that'd be all the articulations and the playing styles, but it really isn't. I'm going to talk about the attack and release in a second. Now, the real magic happens when you blend the top layer and the bottom layer together. So I'm just going to do let's do a trill. Let's do a semitone trill, and then on the bottom, let's add, let's do soap on trim. See what that sounds like. Okay, so completely randomly out of the blue, that's what we got there. Random harmonics and expanding trills. So if I was going to try and program that, that would take me hours and hours and hours, and there it is. Now, the performances by the players are exceptional, and these are recorded performances. They're not just sort of sampled instruments and programmed that way. They are performances that were recorded in the studio. So these expanding trills, absolutely perfect for, I don't know, sort of like horror movies, that type of things. And these effects really work so well for it. Let's just try broken clocks and expanding trills together. Okay, and that was just holding down a D note across several octaves. Really, really cool. But of course, you can just go to absolutely gorgeous, lovely strings as well. So let's just get the soltato and flautando going. Now, as I'm using the mod wheel to control the dynamics at the moment, I'm sort of limited to one hand playing. If I just turn that off and we have the mod wheel just doing the cross effect, you'll notice the bottom layer will kind of sort of like fade in, but I can't control the dynamics. So okay, and while the expression is not linked, you can control it using CC11. So if you have a fader or sort of different MIDI controller, you can do it that way. So you can sort of independently control the two layers then as well. And it's a very, very good setup. So the instrument, I mean, I have spent literally hours today just getting different sort of string sounds going. And this is what I'm saying, it's such a creative instrument. So, you know, it's ideal for sort of drama scoring, and it is, you know, sustains bass. So you're not going to be having like really intricate, fast passages and runs going. But for something a little bit different, well, I'd say very different, creating this kind of sound using the dual layer instrument is, it's just something completely unique. Very, very cool. The other thing I was going to mention as well, you can turn the reverb off, and this is what the room sounds like. if I was to go to normal on both. So you get an idea how that sounds. So the room is really rich, and there's obviously a natural reverb going on, and the cutoff is really, really just, you know, I wouldn't say sudden, but it just dies straight away. And it's gone. So when you add the reverb or your own reverb, you can build whatever sort of room sound you want, but it will sound lush even with zero reverb on. Okay, so that's the main, I'd say, articulations. Yeah, I just realised I didn't have the bottom layer on for part of that, but that's okay. You still had the idea of different reverbs. So if I close these down and open up the attack. Now the attack, normally it's just, you know, how the sample fades in, but not in this case. Now you have all these different attack options, and these add to you know, the articulations. It's the way the instrument's played. So if we go up half a step, so the start of the sample will have this half step attack. And let's do whole step up. And then as an ensemble, you get these really cool effects. So that one reminds me of going to the cinema in the, I'd say the late 90s. So down a half step, obviously works both ways. And let's sort of look through some quick slides. So that's a fifth up. Let's go a fifth down. So programming that would be really, really challenging. Obviously it's doable, but it wouldn't sound as natural. And like I say, this is a performance. It's not just random sort of like scripts put together. It's very, very cool. Crescendos, crescendo long. Let's go for a D minor. And then converge. These are really cool. They start off separate and then they converge together. And you can lengthen the effect as well. Then the shorts. I'm not convinced that quick's working. But as I say, it is a pre-release at the moment, so anything that looks like a bug or doesn't work, it will work upon official release. So you can then combine these with releases as well. Now, the releases have exactly the same thing going on. So if I go up half a bend and we release, sorry, not half a bend, it's guitar talk, up half a step and then release down half a step, we get this. So when I take my finger off the key on the MIDI controller, that's when it starts to dip down. Okay, let's go a whole step down. Let's go long. Okay, and you have mainly the same articulations. So let's do a whole step up and a fourth down. So that's a quick slide down, decrescendo. That's just letting go. There you go. And I love how the GUI kind of sort of glows at the articulation you're on. Okay, and then scatter, we can, let's really go for it. So converge long, it will come together, then it will part again. Okay, and let's just change. Let's do that, another short, big crescendo at the end. So very useful for ending phrases. Okay, and of course all this works with all the different layers and different articulations, so you can get even more combinations of sounds. Let's turn those off so we can see what we're doing, and we get this. And again, the shape has changed in the middle to accommodate what we're doing. So let's just go for a slow bend and I love the scatters. Again, you know, perfect for horror movies or trailer scoring. Yeah, sounds ace. That sounded really cool over two notes. Let's just try the decrescendo and down a whole step. There we go. Let's try that. So the combinations you can go for are absolutely huge with the attack, the release, and then all of these different articulations. So if you count all of these up, the two layers, attack and release, you have 50 different articulations. So yeah, absolutely blown away. So when I said at the start, this is a creative library, you know, you're not going to get these sort of sounds out of traditional library, but you will, I don't know, be able to create some really, really cool string effects and do something and go places where other string libraries just really can't at the moment. So yeah, blown away by the sound. The room's great. The performances are fantastic. The scripting is brilliant. And just the overall sounds you're going to get from this are phenomenal. The last feature to look at are the microphones. Now, I've turned the reverb off and just got the close mic on, so you can hear sort of like the driest way the strings would be played. Okay, so there is that amazing rich room sound going on. You can, like, you know, you can hear the, almost like hear the dust in the air. It sounds so atmospheric. Okay, now if I just go just for the normal, I can hear just a standard string sustain. Okay, so it does have that release going on. Okay, which as of yet I can't see any way to change that. But you know, I absolutely love it. So sounds great. And then the room. Sounds great. And then the ambience. Okay, so that's the mics. Obviously, you can do combinations. So let's just bring the room down. Let's bring the ambient way up. Keep the close where it is. It's quite a sudden attack there. Let's go a bit more gradual. Okay, so they were obviously a lot louder with the ambient up. But yeah, you know, obviously you have those different mic options, which is always fantastic if you're sort of blending different libraries together. So that's Sunset Strings. Now, I said at the start of the video, 2020 had so many string libraries released, and they've all got fantastic room spaces, amazing players, great scripting, the usual articulations we'd expect to find, like legato, flautando, collegno, staccato. Everything is there. But what Realitone have done with Sunset Strings, they've taken all the amazing elements, which is the great room space. I mean, that studio sounds gorgeous. The performances, the players are phenomenal, and they've really taken the time and the effort and the care to really put, you know, everything into this instrument. Now, I do remember a year ago, maybe, this was the Realitone. It was their untitled string project, I guess, and it's now come to fruition, and it's Sunset Strings, and they have put so much time and effort and thought into this. It's phenomenal. The top players, the bottom layers, that's a game changer. The attack, the release, having an articulation either side, again, never seen it before. Using the mod wheel to either blend, crossfade, or just control expression. Very, very cool idea. And the overall aesthetic of this library is phenomenal. It sounds great. Now, I wouldn't hesitate in recommending this library at all. I'm going to be using it a lot, especially for the projects I'm currently doing, which is very contemporary orchestra at the moment. And yeah, I could also use this for crime. I could use it for thriller, for tension, for just lovely drama, romantic scoring. It can go onto trailers, and obviously it can do horror really, really well. So one end of the mod wheel can sound beautiful and serene. You ramp it up and it can sound chaotic and horrid, and it's got everything going for it. Thank you so much for checking out this first look of Sunset Strings by Realitone. Now, I'm going to say it one more time, it's an absolutely fantastic instrument. I'm absolutely blown away by the quality, not just the articulations, just the overall aesthetic. The sound is phenomenal, and I'm going to be using it in a lot of places. Please leave us a comment underneath and let us know what you like about the instrument. Could you use this in your workflow? If you like the video, feel free to leave us a like. Please, please, please subscribe to our channel and pop over to sampleLibraryReview.com to find out everything in the world of virtual instruments. And all that leaves me to say is have a fantastic day, and thank you for watching.